Providence. This is ABC 6 News at 11.
After more than a decade on the run, a former gymnastics coach at the Y in Middletown heading to prison for molesting young girls that he used to coach. James Bell had to know this day would eventually come, but he tried to put it off as long as he could, running from the law in 2004.
All the while, his victims waited, wondering if they would ever get justice. Let's get right over to ABC 6 News reporter Samantha Finland, who spoke to one of the victims. She joins us now live in the newsroom with their emotional story. Sam.
John Alley, Bell had been on the FBI's most wanted list ever since fleeing in 2004. He was captured in Washington earlier this year. Today, one of his victims saying it was like she was a prisoner for all those years that he was on the run. More than a decade after Kaylin Britsky says she was molested by this man, her former gymnastics coach, James Bell. She had a chance to face him as he was sentenced on multiple counts of child molestation.
He took 14 years of my life, and the fact that he only has to serve 8 is depressing on top of everything else that we've had to deal with.
Bell, a former coach at the YMCA in Middletown, was on the run for years. He fled in 2004 and was finally caught in April of this year.
The years that he was missing were the years that I spent in prison. I was a prisoner of him the entire time he was gone. He was constantly on my mind.
The 61-year-old took a plea deal, admitting in court to molesting 3 girls, ages 9 to 13, in the early 2000s. Through sobs, he uttered an apology. Britsky was one of 2 victims to address Bell in court. She says the opportunity to confront him was cathartic.
I never really pictured what it would be like to see him again or to confront him about the things that he did, but doing it today definitely made me feel a heck of a lot better.
Britsky says she does not accept Bell's apology. He was sentenced to 20 years with 8 to serve. Live in the newsroom, I'm Samantha Finland, ABC 6 News.
Sam, thank you. 7 men busted in an undercover sting operation after answering sex ads put online by police in Coventry and West Greenwich. Investigators set up a sting at local hotels in the area after posting ads on Backpage.com. Police say that the sting, dubbed Operation Front Page, was meant to send a strong message to men trying to buy sex online that officers are keeping a close eye on popular websites that offer prostitution services. The Johnston teacher suspended for misusing school funds has been arrested on embezzlement and counterfeiting charges. 57-year-old Greg Russo, a high school science teacher, is accused of forging 50 checks totaling just under $2,000. Police say the checks were for student activities and events. Russo told police he would use his credit card to pay for these events and then reimburse himself. He's been with the district for 28 years.
Now on ABC 6 News, follow-up, the second victim from a pedestrian accident in Johnston Monday night has died. Keith Nunes passed away today. The 54-year-old was hit by a Jeep while crossing Hartford Avenue. His girlfriend, 45-year-old Sandra White, died from her injuries on Tuesday. The driver is not facing any charges. Police say it was foggy Monday night and the couple was not in the crosswalk.
A police officer on the Cape facing charges after he was involved in a bar fight. Police were called to the Buzzards Bay Lounge where they found one of their fellow officers, 49-year-old Jeffrey Lanoy, in a fight with another man. Lanoy even resisted arrest, so they had to call for backup. He is charged with disorderly conduct and malicious destruction of property. Lanoy had received a Medal of Merit last month from the Massachusetts Police Association. The operator of that runaway train in Boston is now appealing his firing. David Vasquez was terminated by the MBTA on Wednesday. This after he got off the inbound train in Braintree last Thursday to check on a problem when suddenly the train started to move. It was eventually stopped after employees cut power to the third rail. Vasquez denies accusations he wrapped a cord around the train's controls before exiting the train to address signal problems.
An overnight fire in Cranston destroying a multi-family home. 7 people now homeless after that fire tore through the building on Princess Street just before 2 this morning. A resident was seriously injured, suffering burns to his arms, chest, and back. Firefighter also hurt after a ceiling collapsed on him. His injuries, though, were minor. Parents in Warwick on heightened alert after 2 separate reports this week of children saying they were approached by strangers.
Both reports coming from the Norwood area. ABC 6 News reporter Kirsten Glavin spoke with parents. She joins us now live in the newsroom with more. Kirsten.
John Alley, I spoke with about a dozen parents in the Warwick school system today, and all of them say this is a huge concern. Warwick police investigating 2 reports made by children in the Norwood area of Warwick, saying they were approached by a man on their way to and from school.
I spoke to both of my children on the way to school. I always walk my kids to school every day, partly because of this reason, I alerted them and told them what was going on, just to not talk to strangers.
Parents were notified Thursday by the Warwick school system superintendent, who warned about the students being approached.
I read the email. My reaction was I was concerned, but I was more glad that we were informed.
The first report was made Wednesday by 2 12-year-old girls. They said a white male between 30 and 40 years old, driving a tan Toyota pickup, approached them on Pine Street when they were walking home.
It's difficult to hear. I mean, if it happened to me, I don't know what I would have done.
The second report Thursday morning on Heath Ave, this time made by a 5-year-old boy who said a white male with a goatee approached him in a white vehicle.
Or as a parent, it's very concerning, and you hope that everything turns out well and these children are okay.
Now, please tell me they do not have reason to believe the 2 reports are connected. And even though children are just about to start their Christmas break, police are also increasing patrols around the schools. Live in the newsroom, Kirsten Glavin, ABC 6 News.
Thank you, Kirsten. It's almost 11:07 on this Friday night. Let's change the conversation and talk weather and sing a little bit. I wish Nick Coit was there because he was the lead in Fiddler on the Roof, by the way.
He has got a great voice. Fantastic.
Really does, but it's starting to feel a lot like December.
Christmas.
There you go.
December.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a little like that tonight, right?
A little bit, yeah. It's colder out there tonight.
Yeah, it got a little chilly. Temperatures fell back in the 30s by like 9 p.m. I haven't seen that happen all month long. It was a little colder out there if you were out and about, and the temperatures continue to fall. In fact, we're starting to see the rain push away, and the clouds are kind of breaking up a little bit. So it's kind of partly cloudy out there right now. The satellite and radar is actually quiet for the most part. We haven't seen this in a while. No rain on there, but you can see how the clouds have some breaks in there. Where you have a little bit of clear skies, the temperatures have started to fall, and much of southern New England now has dried out nicely. In fact, as we go into the night, we'll stay dry and just keep partly cloudy skies. But the temperatures, as John and Allie mentioned, it feels a little bit more like the holiday season out there because it was a little cooler out there. Temperatures are in the 30s for most parts. Smithfield 37, New Bedford 37, Providence at 39. How much colder is it right now than it was yesterday at this time? About 15 to 20 degrees colder. So finally, some December-like air mass moving in, and it's around for the whole entire weekend if you like it a little bit chillier. Tomorrow, partly sunny. Highs around 40. Windy conditions will make it feel like it's 30s in the afternoon. And yes, I have a couple snowflakes there. I'll explain why they're floating around on that little day graphic for you coming right up.
He's talking about a huge storm over the
It's going to
weekend.
be massive, yeah.
Giant.
Plowable snow.
Very big,
Yeah.
huge. Police in Providence are asking parents to pay close attention to their children's social media activity after a brawl at Del Sesto Middle School.
A total of 10 students were arrested. ABC 6 News reporter Alana Cerrone has more on that story tonight.
It's disturbing, some of the things we see as police.
The chief of the Providence Police Department talks about a large school grounds fight.
Mid-November, late November, we noticed a flurry of activity within the middle schools in the city of Providence. And then it came to a head on December 8th in Del Sesto Middle School, where there was a large fight.
10 boys from that school were arrested.
Needed to be sent a strong message that this is not going to be tolerated.
He says they've increased patrols at Del Sesto and also Roger Williams and Gilbert Stewart middle schools, where there's been a lot of behind-the-scenes incidents, much of it stemming from social media.
There's a very concerted and concentrated effort by students who want to engage in this type of activity to utilize social media to their advantage, whether it be to say, coordinate the location of the fight, coordinate the players in the fight.
The president of the Providence Teachers Union says it's especially important to keep an eye on students in and out of school.
So there's this whole different level of mentality that we haven't seen before, with this wildfire spreading of either A, rumors, or B, plans, and C, ultimately getting that video to get onto YouTube.
She says teachers just know when a fight is going to break out.
You can feel it. You can feel the tension in the air. And there are other kids on the fray, on the outside, who will say to you, Miss, something bad's going to happen today.
And that's true for the most recent fight at Del Sesto.
Once in a while, a group of students makes a bad decision. And that fear is that someone's going to get hurt, really hurt.
Alana Cerrone, ABC 6 News.
A Foxborough mother is apologizing for a Facebook rant over a yearbook photo of her daughter that caused quite a bit of controversy. The picture shows the teen standing on an American flag. Her school refused to print it. So the teen's mother took to Facebook posting that the school didn't approve of the American flag. But the school says there was nothing wrong with the flag except for the fact that the teen is standing on it. Her mother has since agreed to reshoot the photo for the yearbook. Another mother, this one in Massachusetts, suing Chipotle after she says her son got violently ill after eating there. She says her son ate at a restaurant in Brighton this month and got so sick he had to be rushed to Boston's Children's Hospital. More than 140 people came down with the norovirus after eating at the restaurant, including members of the Boston College basketball team. Boston health officials say an employee was sick during a shift and may have caused the outbreak. Airport officials are gearing up for one of the busiest travel weekends of the year.
That includes getting the word out about what should be left at home. ABC 6 News reporter Bianca Bono met with TSA for some travel advice.
Well, during the holidays, many travelers are packing gifts with items they normally wouldn't travel with. TSA tells me many of those items won't make it through security.
Somewhat recently, these items showed up here at TF Green.
TSA spokesman Michael McCarthy showing just a few of the near 700 items seized at TF Green in the past month alone.
Well, we do see during the holiday season, less of that frequent flyer group. So we're really trying to get the message out to folks about what they can and cannot fly with.
In many of those traveler suitcases, gifts. Some that won't make it through security.
We really want to stress to passengers, items here like replica firearms or even woodworking tools. Those items are not allowed in carry-on luggage.
A common mistake this time of year, wrapping your presents before you step on a plane.
You can fly with a wrapped present, but we really advise against it. My best advice, wrap it when you get to your destination, or if you really have to wrap it ahead of time, a gift bag is a better bet.
But when it comes to your favorite holiday dish, TSA says no need to leave it at home.
As long as it's not, adheres to the liquid restrictions, the food is fine. You're going to want to check with your airline, make sure that it complies with their carry-on size limits. But, we have no problem screening your food.
Now, TSA says they are tightening security throughout the holiday season, so they advise travelers to give themselves more time than usual. Reporting from TF Green, I'm Bianca Bono, ABC 6 News.
Still to come tonight, The Force Awakens is a massive hit, and the proof is in the box office records. It's already crushing.
Santa Claus is coming to town.
Plus, a special Christmas water fire lighting bringing big crowds to downtown Providence.
Yes, to the 60s
Oh,
as
my
we go on
word.
Christmas Eve day. Unbelievable stuff.
It's going to be a warm Christmas, so you think whatever presents you get, if it's outdoor stuff, you can go out and really enjoy it, right?
Unless it's a sled.
Unless it's a sleigh, then you can't enjoy it, but we're trying to think on the positive side here.
Big coat crisis going on at all the department stores. Nobody's buying coats because it's been so warm.
You don't want to, yeah.
You don't need them, Start thinking shorts and T-shirts and suntan lotion.
Yeah, but we're going to be wishing that it felt like this come a couple months, right?
Yeah, we're going to get some cold air eventually.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Well, this is a little bit creepy. Ingenious, but creepy, I would say, right? It's real life. This guy, he's saying that he will be your elf on a shelf. He posted an ad on Craigslist offering his services, which you're looking at it. He basically will just sit on a shelf and stare at your holiday guests for just $100 an hour. As weird as this is, and it's not totally weird, apparently his services are in high demand, because in that ad, the real-life elf says he requires at least 48 hours notice if you want him to come to your party. I don't know. A little strange. It's funny, though. It's kind of funny.
Nobody believed in Buddy the Elf. Nobody believed in Buddy the Elf. What's your favorite color? Come on, right? The Patriots continue to prepare for the Titans. We'll have a bit of a health update next. We'll also fill you in on how the PC basketball team is feeling heading into this weekend's game with Ryder coming up. And some Thursday night high school basketball around the area to get to. We've got highlights and more coming up next in sports.
ABC6 Weather is brought to you by Police and PoliceAuto.com.
The year-end holidays are here.
This is ABC6 News at 11.
Well, today is the day fans of The Force have been waiting for, as the newest installment of the Star Wars saga and one of the most anticipated movies of the year finally hits the big screen. Now, over at the Providence Place Mall, the first group of fans to see The Force Awakens just got out a little over an hour ago, and they tell us the movie did not disappoint. Let's get right out to ABC6 News reporter Samantha Finland. She's live with more on how fans are reacting to The Force Awakens. And Sam, no spoilers tonight.
Allie, don't worry, I'm not going to give anything away. Obviously, the theater pretty empty right now. Fans are in the second showing of this movie tonight. Now, take a look at some of the video from earlier. You can see the fans leaving the theater beaming with excitement. Nothing but good words to say about this film. There were also lines of people waiting to get into that second showing. Now, not too many costumes out here today. There is a sign warning against wearing masks or carrying any weapons. Now, I will say, like I said earlier, people not disappointed at all by this film. Take a listen to what they had to say.
It was great. The best Star Wars yet. It was just suspenseful. I just loved it. It was crazy. Yeah. It had a lot of twists, but it came together in the end. Yeah, it came together at the end.
I thought it was awesome. It exceeded my expectations.
Any big surprises, shockers? Don't say what they were, but anything you were surprised about?
I was surprised, yes. There were quite a few things. In the third act, it's all surprises.
I just wanted to say that there were moments in the film that there were characters, obviously, from past movies that came back and were reunited, and those moments were probably the most special for me.
Fans were just super excited to talk with me about this film. I can tell you it's not an experience I have often, but people were just dying to talk on camera just to tell me what they thought about the movie. Now, if you didn't get a chance to see it tonight, there's lots of showings tomorrow and throughout the weekend. Live from Providence, I'm Samantha Fenlon, ABC6 News.
All right, Sam, thanks. Well, unfortunately, The Force wasn't with some Star Wars moviegoers in Seekonk. Two theaters full of fans in Seekonk eager to see The Force Awakens at 7 and 7:30 tonight instead saw nothing but pink. As you can imagine, people were disappointed and quickly let it be known on social media. Apparently, the problem was worked out in time for people to catch the movie once everything was fixed at 8 o'clock. Time now for our first check on our forecast. Let's get right over to ABC6 Storm Meteorologist Jeff Denoyer live in the Weather Center. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Allie, everybody going to check out that premiere. Went there with some rainfall. And then when the movie got over, the rain's pretty much come to an end. And you can see the radar has quieted down tremendously since earlier. In fact, all we're dealing with now is just a few light showers to the north. And for the most part, the rain has started to come to an end. We had some real heavy rain during the evening. But as the rain's come to an end, here's your sky cam. Yeah, can't see anything. That's the problem. That's why I'm showing the sky cam, because as the rain has stopped, the fog is back, and visibilities are now dropping once again. Visibility is less than 1 mile in Westerly, less than 1 mile in Newport. Fog coming back now in Providence, where all my sky cameras on the top of the roof don't see anything. And what ends up happening is this fog sticks around for the entire night. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, the fog is still around, and we'll have some patchy drizzle. The temperatures are still extremely mild right now. We are now in the low to mid-50s. Temperatures have actually come up a degree or two since the 5 and 6 o'clock show. Many areas now in the mid-50s, including New Bedford at 56, Providence at 54. As we go into the morning tomorrow, we're right around 50 with that fog and drizzle. Another chance of some light showers tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures around 50, but we dry out just in time for the weekend. But get the heavy jacket ready. It's going to be a little cool. We'll take a look at your forecast for Saturday and Sunday coming right up.
All right, Jeff, we'll see you in just a bit. A mini horse shot in the leg in Acushnet earlier this month is now getting the medical attention it needs, thanks to the support and donations from people not just locally, but around the world. Max the mini horse is in recovery tonight at a clinic in New Hampshire. His owner calling it a Christmas miracle. ABC6 News reporter Kirsten Glavin has the story.
Max the mini horse is now in recovery at a clinic in New Hampshire after a surgery Tuesday that may have saved his life.
Dr. Myrie went in there, took out the bullet fragments, took out the dead skin, took out fractured and broken bones, cleaned it up, tried to really look what was happening and then injected the stem cells.
The company AmniCell also donated stem cells to help regrow and repair Max's hoof. If that doesn't work, in another month, he may need a prosthetic leg.
We don't know where the stem cells are specifically going or if they will work, so that'll take a whole month to actually find out.
Max was shot in the hoof earlier this month. The person responsible never found. But his story went viral, and thanks to the support of hundreds of people and nearly $14,000 in donations, Max got a second chance.
All the donations and the support and everything that has come out of it is just amazing.
Julie Neitlinger calling the widespread generosity a Christmas miracle.
Can you please make sure this gets to Max?
Cole, a 5-year-old boy from Dartmouth, donated all of his savings and some carrots after learning about Max's story.
Love, Cole and Cowboy, age 5.
Neitlinger hopes the support continues as Max begins to heal. Kirsten Glavin, ABC6 News.
Turning now to developing news on the investigation into the terror attack in San Bernardino. The man who bought the guns used by the terrorist couple to slaughter 14 people is now facing terrorism charges. Enrique Marquez was charged today for illegally purchasing 2 of the assault rifles used in the attack. The feds had said up until today that those guns were purchased legally. Marquez, the couple's neighbor, was also charged with conspiring with Saeed Farouk to commit acts of terror back in 2011 and 2012, creating plans that were never carried out. Well, the terror attacks in San Bernardino are just the most recent mass shooting to capture attention here in the U.S. And as the talks about combating gun violence with new legislation increases, gun sales have been skyrocketing. In fact, gun stores in Rhode Island are seeing some of the highest sales they've ever seen. ABC6 News reporter Bianca Bono went to one of those stores and has more on what gun sellers are seeing.
Gun sales have probably gone up like triple.
Over the past 2 months, business has been better than ever at Sakonnet River Outfitters in Tiverton.
You want to start the paperwork and stuff?
And it's not just because of the holidays.
A lot of people are worried that they're no longer going to be able to buy firearms in the, with politics lately, and home defense.
The surge in sales started following the terror attacks in Paris. Then on Black Friday alone, the FBI processed around 2 firearm background checks per second, which was the same day as the shooting spree at a Planned Parenthood in Colorado Springs. Since then, the terror attack in San Bernardino, sending gun sales soaring even higher.
For the majority, been like a lot of first-time gun buyers. We've done quadruple the amount of blue card tests in the past 2 months than we've done in the past few years.
Employees say those first-time buyers are looking at everything from 9mm pistols to the AR-15 rifle, arguably the most popular assault-style weapon, which Congressman David Cicilline is fighting to ban.
This firearm and others like it are weapons of war.
And now, as the focus turns once again on tougher gun laws, stores like Sakonnet River Outfitters expect that this spike in sales isn't going to stop anytime soon.
It's only a matter of time before people realize that it's up to them to keep themselves safe.
Bianca Bono, ABC6 News.
A Providence mother is sentenced for abusing her 6-week-old son. 29-year-old Danielle Lefebvre showed no emotion as she was sentenced to 20 years in jail, 18 to serve. She was found guilty of first-degree child abuse back in March. In October of 2011, Lefebvre shook and threw her son so violently he had a skull fracture, rib fractures, bleeding on the brain, and seizures. Well, today the judge told Lefebvre that she was shocked. She showed no remorse throughout the trial. The little boy, Ryder, has since been given up for adoption. An Attleboro City Councilor is arraigned on assault charges. A not guilty plea entered on behalf of Jonathan Wade. It all stems from an incident in September. Wade is accused of throwing a newspaper at a Cumberland Farms clerk for refusing to sell him cigarettes. The clerk refused because she suspected he was buying them for a teenager who couldn't prove his age.
Other questions?
The man who was shocked while working on a home in Providence remains in the hospital tonight with serious injuries. He was on a lift fixing the roof near power lines when it happened. It sparked a fire and an immediate evacuation of the 3 families living there. National Grid cut the power. As for the worker, he was rushed to Rhode Island Hospital with severe burns. Well, take a look at this. A gaping hole in a building in Taunton after a car plows right through it. The driver was heading down Cohannet Street this morning when his foot slipped off the brake and onto the gas pedal. Well, you can see what happened next. He drove head-on into this vacant print shop. The driver walked away uninjured. Officials say the building is not in danger of collapsing. The president of Rhode Island College is stepping down. 67-year-old Nancy Carullo announcing today she's leaving after graduation in May. She says the reason is criticism over her administration. Last month, a group of current and former RIC employees sent a letter calling for her to resign. Carullo, who earns just over $205,000 a year, is leaving more than a year before her 3-year contract was due to expire in June of 2017. A tragic hit and run that left a beloved Providence teacher dead is now raising concerns about response times. It took a rescue 19 minutes to get to the woman after the first call came in. That long response time is also raising other issues. ABC 6 News reporter Alana Cerrone has the details.
It took less than 4 minutes for a Providence engine to show up when Mount Pleasant teacher Anne-Marie Dansiker was hit on Mount Pleasant Avenue last Wednesday. But it took an additional 15 minutes for a rescue. That's because it came from Central Falls.
It's not unusual that we're tied up and we ask for help.
Providence's 7 rescues were tied up on critical calls, and neighboring towns like Johnston and North Providence didn't have a rescue available either. Commissioner Perry says the amount of rescue calls has gone way up.
Anywhere between 35 and 40,000 calls for rescue in every calendar year. Way too many for the size of the city and the demographics.
But he says it's not a matter of bringing more rescues into the department.
You know, it's a problem because once our rescues are tied up at other calls, then obviously they're not available for real critical calls.
Even though Providence, like most cities, relies on mutual aid from other towns, it's not as bad as it was a few years ago.
Probably 2.5, 3 years ago, they were coming into the city of Providence over 200 times a month.
He says that number is now about 75 to 100 per month, but even that is still too high. Johnston has sent 31 mutual aid rescues so far this year, and North Providence about 200.
3 or 4 years ago, I considered it a problem, and that I wasn't going to allow the taxpayers in the town of North Providence to be abused.
So what's the solution?
Yeah, we are taxed out. We can't afford to put an 8th rescue or a 9th rescue, and probably could go to 10 rescues. But
Perry says it's teaching dispatchers how to better triage rescue calls and also regionalizing services. Alana Cerrone, ABC 6 News.
Coming up, 2 very different studies about the city of Providence that may leave you scratching your head. And a man from Massachusetts who's offering to be your own personal elf on a shelf.